Roger, command. Stand by to power transfer. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Greetings, friends around the world, and welcome to the Caravan to Midnight DEF CON 1 pre-show. I'll tell you all about our esteemed over-the-air guest in just a few minutes. But first, I want to introduce to you Ms. Patty Greer and Mr. Chris Burris. Patty Greer, you may have heard that name before. You may have heard Chris Burris as well. But Patty Greer was an award-winning musician, a UFO documentary filmmaker and public speaker from 2007 to 2017. She was an avid explorer and experiencer of the UK crop circles and produced 8 documentary films that received numerous prestigious awards. Patty toured the US and Canada, sharing her films and speaking at many of the top UFO conferences. She was the first UFO filmmaker to deliver the science discovered in the lab of William Levengood and Penny Kelly about how crop circles really happen. Patty filmed and documented dozens of incredible UK crop circles for her films, and her soundtracks are mostly original music. CropCircleFilms.com is her website. And now, Chris Burris. He is a research engineer and a scientist whose primary mission is to help people live longer. I'm all about that, right? Healthier and pain-free lives. Chris Burris has a diverse background in the field of inventions, manufacturing, and internet technology, with a bachelor's of science in mechanical engineering, minors in computer science and math from University of Houston. He is a co-inventor of patents related to the use of explosives in downhole well drilling, a co-inventor of the most efficient fullerene manufacturing equipment in use since 1991, and co-owner of a company that manufactures a unique product containing a Nobel Prize-winning molecule that's been shown to extend the lifespan of test subjects by, wait for it, 90%. Now tonight, by way of a special pre-show to the over-the-air broadcast, we wanted to bring Patty and Chris on to discuss these amazing products. Now, you may or may not know this. Maybe you don't. It's quite possible you don't, but I've mentioned it a few times. The olio di oliva. I love olive oil. I mean, this goes back literally millennia as being a healthful thing to ingest. I mean, it just helps everything, inside or outside. It's amazing. You know, when they talk about anointing someone's hair with oil, what kind of oil do you think it is? And so without further ado, let us welcome Patty Greer and Chris Burris, and let's talk about this amazing product, C60 Evo. Welcome, Patty and Chris. Great to have you on. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
John, thank you so much for having us.
Where shall we begin? How about this? The motivation to create these products, how far back, what was the aha moment, and just roll it from there. We'd love to hear all about it.
Well, let's talk about the molecule that we're going to be talking about today. So I'm holding up a model of a molecule. If you happen to be listening, just imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So we have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. The molecule was discovered here in Houston at Rice University. That's where I'm based, in Houston. And the 3 scientists who discovered it, they discovered it in 85. Those scientists went on to win the Nobel Prize in 1996 for that discovery. So a short 11 years from discovery to being awarded the Nobel Prize. I started manufacturing that molecule with my business partner in 1991. So even before they won their Nobel Prize, we were manufacturing it and delivering it to research institutions around the world. The molecule is amazing. It makes it's great in almost every industrial application. It makes better inks, it makes better batteries, it makes better tires, it makes better photocells. And they actually thought, for various reasons, actually the shape on the exterior here, this hexagon, is reminiscent of benzene. Benzene's a known toxic. It's known to be carcinogenic, and for that reason, they thought this molecule might be toxic. And they put it in a toxicity study. I know this story sounds really bad for a supplement, right? Like, it's just all been bad until this point. So they put it in this toxicity study, and instead of being toxic, the test subjects that they gave it to, in this case, it was Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So the single longest longevity experimental result in history was because of this molecule, and it's really the C60 Evo formula that we're talking about today. And that's kind of the long and short of this molecule and how we ultimately ended up in with these products.
And Patty, how did you become involved in this quest, in the development and letting everybody know that it exists?
I had 2 attempts to end my life because I was telling the truth about crop circles and the fact that the technology can actually deliver 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per plant, with up to 75% more nutrition per plant as well. And these seeds tended to grow when conditions are too hot, too cold, too wet, and too dry. So what we have here is something as good as free energy. When it comes to the evolution of humanity, we have something here that's going to make a difference. And they didn't want the information to get out. So we're looking at what's going on with whistleblowers now, with the FBI and the CIA and ufology. But I did live through what I call the death of ufology. And you and I were doing a lot of coast-to-coast radio shows when it was alive and active. And, there were great speakers around. And all of them that were in my movies pretty much passed away in the course of 5 short years. And I got wounded, badly wounded. And then I got poisoned a few years later because I survived. I survived because of this ESS60 from Chris and Robert's lab. And we're in Houston, Texas. We are a Patriot lab. In America, we've been making organic, fabulous oils for 4 years now. And the company is absolutely blowing up because the products work. It's one thing to sign up and try it, but when people, more than half of our business is resubscriptions. You save 20% with a subscription, but people don't quit because it actually works. And when it comes to edible organic oils or organic facial serums, it seems like a lot of women are just pushing all that expensive stuff off the table when you can get something this clean, this pure, with the ESS60 in it. So our product line, this is a facial serum that's all natural and over the top fabulous. So the product line has really expanded because Chris and I keep trying it on different things. And you'll never guess how young he is or how old he is. But ever since we've been working together, all he does is regress his look. And of course, he's got his, teenage hair. But his skin is absolutely remarkable. And it has to do, I think, a lot with taking the ESS60 and applying it to the face. And my claim to fame is I'm still here. I'm probably the only ufologist that was telling the truth in the last 15 years that's survived all this. So I'm really delighted. And when I realized that it was this product that helped me and still is, I called Chris and Robert and I said, okay, I'm the one that's on the air talking about crop circles and your stuff, but let's be partners. And they flew me down quickly. And we have really, really had a good time because we're making a lot of products that are changing people's lives and their pets' lives.
That's amazing. Chris, you want to add on? I'm pretty sure you got a bunch to add on.
Wow. There are a lot of directions to take, guys. Let me, one of the things that is really exciting, Patty mentioned the pet products, and the thing that people often ask, hey, these rats lived 90% longer. I get 2 reactions. The first reaction, if they're New Yorkers, they're like, why would we want rats to live 90% longer? You need to bury this research. Don't ever let this out. And the other is actually a lot of people, and this surprised me at first, but a lot of people were like, why would you want to live longer? And it took me a while to kind of process this. I've always had the idea of living longer in my mind. As a goal, 125 was my goal. I don't even remember since when. It's just always been my goal. And when I started to kind of process the information, I realized what we have right now in our society is this inability to be able to separate aging from ill health, right? So we live infirmed, and then that happens because we're aging. And so if you ask people if they want to live longer, they typically are like, well, no, I don't want that infirmed part of my life at all. And if you change the question, you're like, hey, John, if you had the same mental capacity that you have today, and you have the same physical capacity that you have today, would you then be interested in living longer? Now, not everyone changes their mind. They probably need to kind of do some soul searching and find more joy in life, I think, because I find a lot of joy in life. But that really reframes the question for people, right? Now they're thinking, yeah, if I'm like this today, or even better, potentially, yeah, I'd be very much interested in living longer, living a lot longer. And in that original study, the test subjects lived 90% longer, those subjects given the C60 Evo formula. The next best way, the next best documented way to live longer is called CR, calorie restriction. And the way that works, and this is proven in many animal models, if you reduce calorie consumption by 30%, you can extend life by 30%. I call that diet the starve yourself 1/3 to death diet. Not very many people want to sign up for that diet. Maybe it needs like a new marketing, a new PR campaign. But that's a 30% extension of life. We're talking a 90% extension of life by adding this molecule, this ESS60 molecule, the soccer ball shaped molecule, dissolved in olive oil to your existing diet. It's significantly easier. And then their kind of next question is like, what do people report? And we can talk about, what methods of action might be happening in terms of longevity, why they're living longer. But the most consistent testimonial that we get from our customers is they take it in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. And I think it's really interesting and revolutionary, actually, because I'm only aware of 2 things that you can do in the morning to positively impact your sleep at night. One of them is exercise, right? If you wake up and exercise in the morning, as opposed to not exercising, you're going to sleep better that night. And the other is getting exposure to the sun, because you get the rising and falling of the sun in line with your circadian rhythm, and you will sleep better that night. Other than that, I'm not aware of something that you take in the morning, especially giving you focus and energy during the day, and then sleeping better that night. So it's pretty amazing.
Just to touch on sleep just for a moment, what is the ideal time to go to sleep?
It's typically 10 o'clock, right?
Really?
Now, there are a number, it's a small portion. There's an amazing book out there called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker, and he gets into like all the details. I call it the Freddy Krueger of sleep books, not because Freddy Krueger from the scary movie Nightmare on Elm Street, not because it scares you awake, because that's what Freddy Krueger did. It actually scares you to sleep, because there's so many detrimental things that happen to us when we don't get enough sleep. And he does say there's a certain portion of the population that benefits from going to sleep a little bit earlier, and a certain portion that benefits a little bit later. By the way, from an evolutionary perspective, as we were small tribes, having one small group of the people in the tribe awake, because that was their natural timing, was beneficial to the tribe, in terms of protecting the tribe overall from, things that might eat them or things that might kill them. But yeah, 10 o'clock is the typical ideal time frame.
And what's the author's name again? Why We Sleep?
Yeah, it's Why We Sleep, and the author is Dr. Matthew Walker. I think he's at one of the University of California schools right now. At one point, he was in Harvard. Fascinating story. He was doing research on Alzheimer's and noticed this kind of sleep challenge that people who have Alzheimer's have, and that led him into a whole 25-year career in sleep. And he's actually one of the better speakers you'll ever see. He's got no ums, no ahs. It's pretty impressive. But the book is amazing.
Now, Patty, you jump in here wherever you want to, but I have another one, of course. Here it comes. I just had a dream about a C60 molecule. I got to find it. I mean, how did this happen? How do you even get on the trail of something like that?
So, my business partner, I met my business partner in college at the University of Houston. Go Cougs! We graduated from the University of Houston, and so we were good friends. And he was actually working at the Texas Center for Superconductivity. So that's an organization that's housed inside the University of Houston campus. There's a very famous, at least in superconductivity worlds, a very famous professor, Dr. Chu. So my business partner, Robert Wong, was separating this material, right? So isolating this soccer ball material from the other components that occur when you manufacture it. And one day, Dr. Chu came in and said, "Hey, you guys are a bunch of young college students. This molecule is selling for $6,000 a gram." Like, let that sink in. This is $1991. You guys should go start a company. And my business partner is from an entrepreneurial background. He did, again, a calculation on a napkin, which probably just showed $6,000 a gram. And then he was off and running with the company. The process of manufacturing this molecule is extremely non-trivial. We'll go with that. You actually have to vaporize 2 graphite rods in an inner environment at a slight vacuum. It turns out that graphite is one of the hardest materials on the planet to vaporize. You actually need local temperatures of the sun to vaporize it. And again, remember, the chamber has to be in a vacuum. So you've got this extremely complex engineering challenge, and that's why he brought me in. I was supposed to help design it and then go away. There was another business partner. That other business partner found like other college activities he enjoyed more than starting a business. And I stayed, and we're 32 years later, still business partners and delivering amazing value that I never really dreamed that I'd be delivering.
So you use high quality olive oil and then combine it with this molecule, or is it, so the
Exactly.
molecule that's how the heck do you infuse? You I'm starting to get into processes here, and we're not going to go into that. But in
Just real
layman's
quick,
terms, how do you get a C6? Go on.
Yeah,
You're
yeah. You
reading my
take as
mind.
much of the ESS60 molecule and to get it to dissolve into olive oil. So you take a high quality, obviously we purchase that. We don't manufacture that, but we manufacture every aspect of the carbon molecules afterwards. And you take that, basically this ESS60 molecule is a black powder. You could consume it. We'll just throw this in there. You could consume it, but it's not water soluble. So you would just excrete it out. It would just pass right through your system. When you dissolve it in olive oil, it actually takes it down to the monomolecular level. So each individual molecule is floating around in the olive oil, actually dissolved in the olive oil, and then it becomes bioavailable. That process is actually extremely time consuming. So not only are we vaporizing graphite rods at the temperature of the sun, we are also dissolving this black powder in olive oil, and that process takes 3 weeks. So it's mixing in these big stainless steel vats that are also devoid of oxygen, so they have a nitrogen bath to keep them from oxygenating, from oxidizing, and that takes 3 weeks to make.
So now, Patty, how did you and Chris meet? And it's I don't want to turn this into a boys' club here. Okay, so talk to us about your connection, your input, and just what you're doing. What is your function within the project altogether?
Well, I'm the social director. I bring in people like you and Roseanne Barr and Bobby Kennedy Jr. because I've been out there on the air like you have for decades, trying to bring evolution to this planet rather than devolution, which we're kind of watching lately. But I have faith. I still think we're going to make it. So for me, I was in really rough state. I could barely walk. I was seriously wounded by bad people. And somebody gave me a sample of C60, which is not ESS60, but it's like the old version of what it was before we did the evolution of the production to bring ESS60 to market. And it is pure, clean, really makes a difference. But somebody had given me a sample, and all of a sudden I started walking, and I went, oh my God, what is this? Where did it come from? It came from Chris and Robert's lab. So it took me a little while to look at different labs, making these products or trying to, and they were dusty basements and garages. And then I called Chris and Rob one day and I said, this is a friggin' miracle. I'm like the only ufologist still here. What are you doing? I love your product. You guys want to work together. And they knew that I was the voice on the air talking about their products because all of a sudden they started selling an awful lot of the edible products, not just the industrial grade, which was 30 years for them. So basically, he said, all my favorite things. How soon can we fly you here? And I'm sending you an NDA within half an hour. Boom, boom. They did. It was absolutely amazing. And I went with a big presentation, which I didn't even need to do because he said, start from scratch. Start from scratch. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, brand new company that we create. And so we created what we called the evolution of really raising the bar in the industry so that we could bring products that are just powerful, potent, and also tested every batch so that when our bottle says this has 0.86 milligrams per milliliters or 0.8, it actually does. And we test everything before it goes out in an official HPLC machine, which I think a lot of the casual, production groups don't have the equipment. And we continue to expand the line because we haven't found anything it doesn't fix. So I'm the one that started, taking the oil, and then there's the spoon, and I'd wipe it off and I'd rub it on my face and my hands. And then I'd even go around the lip, which I still did this morning, and I rub it on my face and hands. And all of a sudden, my 50,000 miles of Harley riding with no helmet, my skin started looking good. I was like, oh, Chris, we got to do a facial serum, not just the oils, let's expand the line. And he's in a lab with a bunch of guys going, facial serums? Really? Would you look at his skin? I mean, when he's full screen, would you ever guess he's mid-50s?
No.
Yeah. I mean, when I met him, my favorite joke is he was shriveled and old, but now he's like, no, he doesn't. But the difference in his skin is remarkable. And probably mine too. You know, I'm considerably older than he is, but we both use the products religiously. Our families do. And the health improvements in everybody around me has been very impressive because the whole town is sick. Everybody's got whatever they're dumping from the sky, and I'm not. My
Yeah.
family's not.
All these things sounded so crazy before, but they're not crazy now. So now let me ask you this: is this taken as a just have a spoon or whatever? I mean, can you put it on your pita bread and have it with your hummus? Can you, as long as you get it in your body, are we good, or does it just need to go in there by itself?
I like it on a spoon because it's the direct shot.
Right.
But Chris likes it in a beaker because he's in the lab.
Okay.
I'm at the end of this bottle, so I'm just going to shoot it out of the bottle. But I say, let's propose a toast and let you try it for the first time and see if you feel any different before the end of our interview. Do
All
you have
right.
a spoon, John?
Just happen to have one with me. You know, I carry one with
Okay.
me all the time.
Well, there's three different ways to do Evo. There's the beaker way, which is if you're in a lab or scientifically minded, on a spoon, which is how I do it in the morning. Or I'm just going to shoot out of the bottle. Third way to do it. Cheers.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to put any kind of a hooba
Hmm.
juba whammy on it by letting it contact stainless steel, am I?
No.
Okay,
You're
good.
good.
You look, you never know. In my world, in your world, and probably in Chris's world too, just go ahead and ask.
Yeah.
It could
Good
be
idea.
tragic if you don't. You know what I mean? All right, I'm pouring
Good
some
idea.
in.
And
It
we'll
looks
see. Yeah, it's good and strong. The olive oil gives you a good bump of energy. It's really, really potent. And while you're taking it, we also have two other amazing oils. I start my day with the MCT coconut oil in my coffee. I take a tablespoon and I spill, oops, because it just tastes so good. And it gets me going in the morning. It is not as strong as the olive oil, but then we also have the avocado oil. And it is almost as strong as the olive oil. And again, when I say as strong, they just hold different levels of the carbon 60 fullerenes, the ESS 60. So we recommend to a lot of people, we do a sampler set. And the sampler set is all three flavors.
Mhm.
So if you try them, you're going to find like Roseanne Barr loves the avocado oil on toast with sea salt. She calls it avocado toast. I mean, highly recommend this in your coffee and this on a spoon. But what I found was that my close friends would scoop it off their spoon and they'd let their dogs lick the spoons. And they said, my God, Bella, who's 14, is walking. What's in this stuff? We just let her lick the spoon and now they're all standing waiting. So at the lab, the guys came up with this amazing formula. It's the strong stuff, the olive oil, and we added a little natural bacon essence. Dogs friggin' love it. And then for the cats, we added salmon essence. And people are saying in testimonials, my cat just sits there, or my dog just sits there waiting for the drops to go on. Like they won't even eat unless they see us do the formula. So pets are really noticing a difference, but they also don't lie. And when our testimonials by the dozens say, I had to carry him downstairs, he was so lethargic and arthritic. Now he bounds up the stairs. Like,
Yeah.
wow. So we're getting remarkable response. And those are the things I do. I read the comments to the shows, the testimonials. Chris is at the lab and they are making magic there, expanding our product line. I never know what they're doing because they keep doing new things. And not only did they approve me doing a facial serum, but once he saw the reaction, how many people loved it, even his wife, skin improvements, he calls me and he goes, well, I hope you're okay with this, but I've got another facial serum. So he comes out with another one at the lab. And this is two-part because it has UTH 29 and we have one water, one oil base, but we're so picky about not adding chemicals that we decided to skip the emulsifiers, make it into a two-part serum where the ESS 60 and the UTH 29, it's a peptide, get mixed in the hand. So you put a little bit of each in and you rub it together to freshly activate. Then you've got a freshly activated potent, put it on your face, and we are getting rave reviews. Both facial serums. And it did so well that we also created a hair serum, same kind of formula, the ESS 60 and the UTH 29. And it's for people that got the long flu or got the thing in the arm and lost a bunch of hair, which a lot of people did. This is a potent way to hopefully renew.
Chris, about the avocado oil, how should this be consumed and at what frequency?
Well, let me just share kind of what I tend to do. I'm going to throw in a testimonial too, right? So, people ask like, what happens with you? I can always talk about sleep. I've got some unique stories related to sleep. But in the early days, if I got to 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I started yawning, or I started thinking I needed a nap or another cup of coffee, I could always remember that I hadn't taken the C60 Evo formula that morning. And so I got it part of my routine. This is how my routine is. Some of you may be familiar with the Bulletproof Coffee. It was made famous by Dave Asprey. Bulletproof coffee is kind of a meal replacement. Your cup of coffee is a high quality coffee. It adds about a tablespoon of ghee and I think it's a couple teaspoons of MCT oil. Well, I've pulled out the ghee as just too many calories. I don't want those calories. And I actually put in our MCT oil. So I put about a teaspoon and a half of MCT oil in my coffee. That's, again, water-based. The coffee's water-based. The MCT is oil. So while that's mixing, I'll take a teaspoon and a half of our of our olive oil. So that's my breakfast, and that works. And then when it comes to lunch, I'm usually having a salad. So I'll put our avocado product on my salad.
Sure. And how long have you been taking it? Ingesting it regularly?
Regularly really started at the beginning of 2018.
Wow, that's quite a long time. So you made yourself the test guy.
Yes, I am one of the we'll call it. I'm a human Wistar rat.
Well, I realize we're on Zoom here, but if you had told me you're 35 or 6, I'd have immediately just gone, yeah, because I mean you look very youthful, and frankly, Patty, you do too. And I noticed it when you came on, and I hadn't looked at the labels on the products yet. I've been looking at it as we've gone through, and I see the facial serum there, but I thought, these people look great. They look like they're in like professional makeup, and they're not.
No, Chris has no makeup, but I did see him put some oil on. But the guy sparkles. His skin is beautiful. I'm 70. So.
What?
I did 50,000 miles on a Harley. And I got 2 attempts on my life that I survived. So I'm pretty proud to be here still. I got to tell you, every day I wake up, I look around and I go, I'm still here. I win.
All right, I have to ask because it's come up a couple of times. Now, what model of Harley do you ride? Are you a solo biker lady, or do you ride behind somebody?
Oh, no. When I got divorced, I met a BMW rider and he took me on a ride of my dreams. And then the next day he went to work and I was like, oh, no. I want to go for a ride. And he's like, I work, Patty, so I had to go buy my own. And I started with a lawnmower, a little 250, but I ended up with a lowrider convertible.
Cool.
1994. And
yeah, that's a nice scooter.
Oh, it was. I mean, for an immaculate girl who's clean freak, I went to Sturgis 5 times, but I was always the one in the clean gear, so many things, it's like the nice thing about being this old is I'm starting to look back at these chapters of things I've done. But I think that had I started the Evo a lot earlier, the C60 Evo earlier, I probably would have had the know-how not to get in those trusting the wrong people situations.
Yeah.
All of us have our challenges in life, but I just feel like what a gift now that not only do I take it, but I also can sell it. And last week we sold to Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, Mexico. We are
Excellent.
out there in the world. I mean, we're really getting out there because people that take it love it. And then they talk about it. People that travel, we made capsules so that, people that are on the road, Roseanne, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is also taking our product. I don't know if you've listened to him, but his voice is better. Have you noticed? Have you listened to him at all?
Not really.
It's okay.
Not really. I gave up listening to him when he said that people who believe in climate change or don't believe in it should be jailed. But I got to cut him some slack because that was back in 2009, right? Oh. Anybody can make a mistake, right?
So that was a long time ago.
Exactly.
He's done us a lot of favors too, but everybody's going to say good and bad things. But the point is, I've been sending him products for the last year.
Oh,
and
great.
He had to get them blessed in a Catholic church before he would receive them, which I thought was very unique and cool. So
that is interesting. And you know what? Come to think of it, his voice is less gravelly and less unsteady sounding. The last couple of things that I've seen. Yeah, because for a while there, it was almost like, oh, the poor man, what is going on with his voice,
Well, I can't say that we get credit. It might just be a coincidence, but he's one of my favorite coincidences lately.
Well, that's a good one. I'll tell you that.
I like it.
All right. Now, how do our audience members connect with your wonderful products? And folks, there's a full range here. I got a little bottle here that's it's It's got a bacon flavor. It's for pets. I mean, this is amazing. I'm looking at
That's
two.
the dog product is the bacon, and the cat product is the salmon. But it's our number one selling olive oil, ESS 60, C60 Evo olive oil. We have so many deals right now with Christmas, but they also go all through the year. The best thing we recommend to people is sign up for a monthly subscription. You'll save 20%. And even if you don't want a monthly subscription, you'll try the products. If you love it, you'll be happy you did. And if you don't, you just cancel. We're really easy to deal with, but 20% is a nice savings. We discount 15% on any gift collection, which gives 2 items or more. And
Yep.
we always recommend that people, if they're going to do the face serum or whatever, that they do it with the edible oil also, because in and out is where you're going to get great benefits. For dessert, Chris we're also making lip renewal balm. So not just facial and another facial serum, but we're also doing lip renewals. Did you get some of those? Oh my God, wait till you try the mint.
Yes,
I
yes.
love it. So, I mean, everything that we've done, it just works. So the best deal of all is to buy a dozen and you get 25% off. But no matter what you buy, John has a special link and a special code to get another 10% off at checkout. And your code is John B. Wells, or go to the link, which is probably in the description below, c60evo.com/John B. Wells, and you'll come up with a landing page with all of our products and John's special offer. So what's interesting to me is that more than half of our sales are subscriptions. Like I wake up so many days of the week to 100, 110 new subscriptions, like redos, people that are just year after year, month after month, and literally saying in the testimonials, I got rid of everything. I'm saving so much money, even though people are like, oh, it's expensive. What's your health worth? What's your energy worth? What's your mental clarity worth? Those are the 3 things, and sleep, 4, that we really hear constantly. The mental focus aspect, I think, is more important now than ever, as we're in this 5th dimensional subliminal war right now. Your neighbors, your family, half of us know, half of us don't, or are we crazy who think we know? This dynamic of people thinking so differently. I am staying calm. I try not to, I have so many reasons to flip, go postal, but
Yeah.
it's like, man, not worth it. And this just keeps me balanced. My friends call me in the morning. They're like, slow down, you're talking really fast. Okay, I did my silver bullet coffee with the Evo, so I'm like wound, but still I can do research until 10 at night all day long, and I don't get bored. My brain has really benefited from taking these products, and I can't recommend it more. I am, like I said, the social director, but it's because I believe. I wouldn't sell anything I don't believe in, and I'm still here.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to live forever necessarily, not on this planet, but I would like to live long enough to see how everything turns out. So there we are. Right? Chris,
Yeah.
final comment?
Well, yeah, I think you want to stay around. And again, as long as you have the same mental capacity and the same physical capacity that you have today, then yeah, I'm willing to stay around. And then I like one phrase, which is, I just want to go out exactly on my own terms, right? Like the best analogy I have is a candle, right? A candle flame burns bright until it's done. Right. And then that's the way you want to live your life, all the way to that end, burning brightly. And then, okay, we're checking out without, any sort of protracted challenges that we really don't want us to deal with or our family to deal with.
Well, I've had a blast, literally, meeting you both and talking with you about this fantastic product. And, I'm an olive oil aficionado. Hey, Shop Italia, whatever, give it to me. I love it. I've always loved it. And this is remarkable. This is a remarkable evolution of olive oil, hence the name, folks. C as in Charlie?
Carbon.
C60 Evo. That's Echo, Victor, Oscar. C60evo.com/John B. Wells. John, put my H in there. John B as in Bravo, WELLS. One more time. C60, the number 60, C60evo.com/John B. Wells. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. And we'll be talking much, much sooner than later, I predict.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Stay
Okay,
well.
folks, let's radio rodeo. Airtime's waiting, and we're about to get on the magnetic beam and let them have it. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of treachery, betrayal, and Armageddon to go around. But how about this? And seriously, Olive oil, if I may say it this way, olive oil is the nectar of the gods. It really is. I mean, it's just renowned for its nutritional and healing and soothing benefits. But now, well, it's C60 Evo.com, evolution. The evolution of an already good thing. All right, stand by. Here it comes.